Development of language and language use. Language allows us to share our thoughts, ideas, emotions, and intention with others. Humans, especially children, have an amazing ability to learn language. Within the first year of life, children will have learned many of the necessary concepts to have functional language, although it will still take years for their capabilities to develop fully. Babies start developing the foundation for language as they listen to the sounds of the world around them. Let's see how the development of language happens. Before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel. Do watch other videos in the channel and share it with students and those who love learning psychology. Thank you. Theories of language development. First one, B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning. He believed that children learn language through operant conditioning. In other words, children receive rewards for using language in a functional manner. For example, a child learns to say the word drink when he is thirsty. He receives something to drink which reinforces his use of the word for getting a drink, and thus he will continue to do so. This follows the four-term contingency that Skinner believed was the basis of language development. They are the motivating operations, discriminative stimuli, response, and reinforcing stimuli. Skinner also suggested that children learn language through imitation of others, prompting, and shaping. Second one is Noam Chomsky's language acquisition device. Noam Chomsky's work claims that children have innate abilities to learn language. He terms this innate ability the language acquisition device, or LAD. He believes children instinctively learn language without any formal instruction. Chomsky also believed in the existence of a universal grammar. There are certain grammatical rules all human language share. An example of the language acquisition device in action is the way children acquire language. Children are able to learn the rules of the language and apply them correctly without being explicitly taught. For example, a child may hear the sentence, "The cat chased the mouse," and automatically understand that the subject comes before the verb and the object comes after the verb, even though they have never been taught this explicitly. Next is Jean Piaget's assimilation and accommodation. His theory of language development suggests that children use both assimilation and accommodation to learn language. According to him, children first create mental structures within the mind known as schemas, and from these schemas, language development happens. For example, a young child who has a schema for dog, that is, a child who already knows a dog, might assimilate a new experience with a different breed of dog by categorizing it as a dog. Then, if a child encounters a cat for the first time, they might need to create a new schema, that is, they accommodate their schema by recognizing that cats have different features, behaviors, and sounds compared to the dogs. Next is Lev Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. The zone of proximal development is a level of development obtained when children engage in social interactions with others. For example, if the child is struggling to read a certain book on their own, their zone of proximal development would include the range of reading tasks they can do with the guidance and support from someone more skilled in reading, such as a teacher or a parent. That is, the more knowledgeable other. help the child learn and accomplish tasks that they could not do by their own. Stages of language development in children. First one, pre-linguistic stage. This stage is from birth to 6 months of age. During this time, the baby is focused on the sounds around them, both from words and in their environment. They begin to recognize their parents' voices and learn the facial expression of their caregivers. During this stage, babies engage in simple vocal play or cooing to learn how to use their voice. An example of cooing might be an infant making repetitive vowel sounds such as oh, ah, etc. And this time they look at their caregiver's face. This type of vocalization is often accompanied by the contact, the facial expression, and the body movements. They learn early communication. Like if they cry, they will get something. Like they get feed or they get change their diapers, etc. And if they make sounds, their mom or their dad or who are the caregiver, they will respond back. So they start learning communication. Next is the bubbling stage. It takes place from 6 to 9 months of age. At this time, the infants begin making different vowel and consonant sounds, combining them to form syllables that aren't really words. The bubbling stage is a fun time for babies to explore how their voice works and experiment with volume. Sometimes they may startle themselves if they say something really loud. The example of bubbling might be an infant producing sounds like ba 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 or ma 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 like that while playing with toys or looking at their caregiver. Next is one word stage. This occurs between 9 to 18 months. This exciting stage of language acquisition is when parents will finally hear their baby's first words. An example of the one-word stage might be an infant saying mama or papa or dada, whatever it is, to request their mom's attention, or maybe words like juice, etc. for getting a drink. These single words may be accompanied by gestures such as pointing or reaching to help convey the meaning. Next is two-word stage. It occurs between 18 to 24 months. You may hear simple two-word sentence such as mummy hat or papa go or mummy see, etc. Children add more speech sounds to their words during this stage. These may contain some errors that are appropriate at this age. This is a rapid time of vocabulary development and children may learn 1 to 2 new words per day. These simple phrases often consist of a noun and a verb and may be accompanied by gestures and facial expressions to convey the meaning. Next is telegraphic stage. It develops between 24 to 30 months. It is called as telegraphic stage because the children combine several words to express an idea, but grammar is not prevalent yet and it is similar to a telegraphed message. For example, a child may say, Dada, go work, or like, want more ice cream, etc. During this stage, children's vocabulary expands to include more words and they begin to use grammar rules to form basic sentences, such as using plurals and verb tenses. Their language may be still somewhat simplified and may omit words that are not essential to convey meaning. So these are various stages of language development. Now let's see the language use. We know that language is ubiquitous, that is, it is found everywhere or it is universal. and we humans are born to use it. Language enables us to express our wishes, feelings, likes, dislikes, and ideas. It's a symbolic function. We use language to get our ideas across, to communicate. Language use help to frame or reframe particular issues, and this framing can be both positive and negative. Language has been described as a loaded weapon. It brings with it real world consequences. So use it properly. Language also plays a role in how we affect other people and how we make others feel. This can be achieved just by our choice of words. The choice of words can make others happy, or maybe we can make them feel sad or angry. It depends on the word we choose. Another key function of language is social interaction. For instance, we use language to engage in gossip, to get to know someone, to conduct business, and to make a purchase in a shop, etc. Language use can vary depending on the factors such as culture, context, and audience. For example, the language used in a professional setting may differ from the language used in a casual conversation with friends or family. Similarly, the way that individuals use language may vary depending on their relationship with the person they are communicating with, their age, and their social status. Language use also involves the ability to use language appropriately and effectively in different situations. This includes understanding the rules of grammar and syntax, as well as the social norms and conventions of language use. Effective language use involves being able to convey meaning clearly and accurately, and being able to understand and interpret the meaning of others. Language and language use constitute a central ingredient of human psychology. Language is an essential tool that enables us to live the kind of life we do. Let's have a quick recap on what we have learned. We have learned the development of language, various theories, and various stages of language development in kids. The infants make vegetative sound from the birth. It includes crying, sucking noise, and burps. Then by 6 weeks, they start cooing sounds followed by vocal play between 16 weeks and 6 months. This vocal play involves sounds that appear similar to the speech but containing no meaning. And babbling is observed between 6 to 9 months. This is different from the vocal play, and it contains true syllables like using wa for water. Then children produce single word utterances around 10 to 11 months, followed by the expansion of vocabulary around 18 months. At the same time, they start using two-word utterances. Then telegraphic speech. Grammatically complex utterances emerge around 2.5 years. Then we have learned about the language use. Hope you like this video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.